She's going where no one has gone before, Mars! Talking with Away star Hilary Swank about her Netflix series and her next festive film, Fatale. Speaking of Fatale, its director, Dion Taylor, officially the first filmmaker back at it. We'll talk about how he's keeping it COVID safe and how he's keeping it real. You can do it!
You can do it!
One of my favorite Rob Schneider movie lines, he's dropping by to talk about his Netflix stand-up special and my favorite Rob movie moments from home. Also, it's Shark Week! We're talking shark movies and then some. Get something, put some extra butter on it, and join us right now. Hey, what's going on? Let's do it. Welcome to Extra Butter. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Just don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching on ABC. Thanks for watching on AFN. And if you're doing that, you're one of the men and women around the world and in 168 different countries and territories worldwide making America safe, and we thank you for that. So, what have you guys been up to? Really? That sounds awesome. Tell me more. Uh-huh. That's great. Now let's talk about movies. Hold on, let me get my checklist out. Make sure I'm keeping track of everything. All right. Did we talk about YouTube? All right. Did I mention AFN? All right. Have we gotten some small talk out of the way? Good. I am so geeked out about what I'm about to tell you about. But I gotta warn you, it's what we call a deep tease. By that, I mean I'm gonna tell you something that's on Netflix down the road. It won't be till September you can see it, but oh, is it awesome. It is Hilary Swank's new series called Away. Take a look.
I miss you guys. I love you so much. I wish I could be with you right now. But just remember, the further away I get, I'm just getting closer to being back to you.
To tell you more would be to ruin the series, but it's going to be amazing. I had a chance to catch up home to home with Hilary to talk about it, and then some. Take a look.
I was waiting for you to look up. I've been here for hours.
You made it to Mars. You're my hero.
I did. Hey, permission to take this off?
Permission granted.
Okay. You know, Hillary, the worst part about that was just sitting here for an hour waiting for you with my kids walking back going, hey, Dad, do you know where the cheese bagels are?
Well, now you know what it feels like, how hot it is in there.
No, I can only imagine what the real deal was. First and foremost, congratulations. This thing is amazing.
Thank you.
Everybody is going to lean into something about this. And I'm guessing for you, the greater, the broader net's what drew you in.
Yeah, you know what? I actually myself am not a huge sci-fi fan. I did want to be an astronaut though before I wanted to be an actor, because I find the idea of the unknown, unexplored territory to be as fascinating as about every other human being. But I think the thing about this show is that, like, even though we're like on this mission to Mars and we're on this journey, and all these things happen along the way, we're still kind of really tethered to this gravitational pull of our family down on Earth, and like what we're leaving behind, and some of the unfinished business, and the human nature within all of that, no matter what race you are or what gender you are. And I love that connective tissue.
Although you're dealing with the mission to Mars, there are very few choices that you have to make that people in everyday walks of life aren't going to have to make every day.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the idea of like life or death and how imminent every choice is that you make that's right in front of you. And that decision could literally make or break something. It's got to be the type of like enormous pressure that is kind of feels debilitating at times.
And I'm amazed at how technically astute this is, in addition to getting all of the emotion right.
Thank you. Well, that has nothing to do with me, but thank you. I agree.
I've got my dog going crazy up here on Mars. Do you hear that? That's nuts.
Yeah, I love that you were able to take your dog to Mars, because when everyone asks me, who would you take or what would you take to Mars? It's like, my dogs.
As we wrap this up and while I deal with that, if you were to go to Mars and you could only take one musical group or artist and one movie to play on loop all the way there, what would that be?
Wow. Well, that's kind of hard because like One genre. I guess you know what? The first band that came to my head is U2, just because I like when I was learning to fly, I would play U2 in my, ear pods when I was growing up, just like inspirational music. And one movie, I don't know. What would you take?
Only because I'm neighbors with him and I'm also a feature film producer. I would probably take Fatale because I love this movie. But we'll talk about that down the road.
Are we gonna talk about that next?
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. I gotta get my dog and scoop up some Mars poo.
Go over to Dion if you're his neighbor and say hello in that. I dare you.
Hilary Swank and Away blasting off to Netflix in September. I will be talking about it ad nauseum. We got a lot of time, and I promise you, I'm going to want to tell you all about it because it really is remarkable. Now, when I was talking to Hilary, you may have noticed I brought up a movie called Fatale. And you may have thought, well, that was kind of random. Why did he pick that movie of all the movies in the world? Well, it's because it's directed by Deon Taylor. My good friend, practically a neighbor of mine, directed that movie. And here is why Deon is so timely right now. Deon is the very first filmmaker in Hollywood out of the gate to make a movie during COVID times. And how is he doing that safely? I don't know. When we come back, Deon Taylor, director of Meet the Blacks, director of Black and Blue, director of The Intruder, and a long list of others, joins us to talk about how he's making a movie during COVID times. Next. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter. When we went to break, I was talking about my friend Deon Taylor. He's an extraordinary filmmaker. Before I get deep into this, let's talk about some of his films. Came out of the gate with Black and Blue. Just an amazing motion picture. If you haven't had a chance to see it, it's streaming everywhere right now. A Dennis Quaid thriller called The Intruder, where Dennis Quaid is every bit as creepy as Hannibal Lecter. Rent that at your own risk. Made some great comedies, including Meet the Blacks. But the reason I'm talking to Deon today on Zoom is because he's doing something no one else even thought was possible yet. He's making a movie during COVID times wrapped around the whole COVID experience. How? I'll let him explain.
What's up, Mark? I'm tired of being on Zoom, man. What's going on?
I can only imagine. You literally just wrapped this movie. How are you even awake right now?
I don't know, man. You see, I got this beard. I got this long hair. I'm just living right now, man. But I'm blessed and I'm really excited, man, that we were able to do something this special during this time, man. So I guess I'm doing great.
Okay, I checked up on the Producers Guild, my organization, and the Directors Guild and SAG say that there are 11 movies trying to come up, including one of the biggest power players on the planet, Jurassic World, and you beat them by 3 days. Not only that, you finished your movie. How'd you do it?
Very carefully. You know what, man? I think the name of the film is called Don't Fear. We were happy to be one of the only movies in the entire world being shot. And I think that's a testament to us, number one, being independent, and number two, being the type of people that we are, which is scrappy, fighters, man, that just know how to get down and dirty and make stuff happen.
So, a lot of what you're talking about, like every business, no matter where you work, if that business is still in business, they're going to be doing the social distancing. They're going to be doing individually wrapped meals and no communal eating places. But on a movie set, you got to get actors talking to each other in the same proximity. How do you do that?
It was actually a very interesting experiment for me to watch, because normally you make a film and the talent goes home, or they go to the hotel, or, they're off doing their own thing and then they come on set. This was a very, very unique experience based on the fact that you were in a bubble with everyone. So because you're COVID testing the way you're testing rapidly every other day, you can't allow anyone to come into your bubble or be around you. So the only people that are around are the people that are in the film. And it just allowed the cast to get a lot tighter. You're risking your life to go do your art. We wanted to define the moment, not allow the moment to define us.
So true. And I've met your producing partner, Roxanne, and if anybody's going to keep the bubble, it's her. If she tells me not to move an inch, I'm not going to move an inch. So I know how she kept that place secure.
All praises go to her, man. Like, obviously to be able to make a movie, you have to actually pass all the guild. You got to get through all the union information. The COVID is a different animal. Once you understand the infrastructure, once you understand, you can't leave, or you can't go out, or you can't play no games, once everyone had that understanding, man, there was absolutely no problems. Like I said, the only problem that we really had, which was not a problem, was some nights just thinking like, you know, praying that everyone's okay, because over the course of 18, 19 days, I mean, you're being tested almost 12 times.
Amen. Now let's talk about the movie. You wrote the movie. It revolves around COVID. As much as I want COVID to end tomorrow, there's a very good chance this movie will release while we're still during the pandemic.
It deals with fear. It deals with anxiety. It deals with a group of people that go to this lodge to get away from the pandemic. But then they all sit down and have conversations about what really scares them in life, only to find out that the lodge is either playing on their fears or their mindset is playing on their fears. And it's super cool, man. I mean, it's very eerie, very scary. I haven't done a horror film, man, since I first started. This one, man, I was scared making the film. I was like, yo, I gotta take a time out on this scene.
I can't wait to see it. Speaking of theaters, we had Hilary Swank on right before you on this Extra Butter, and I gave a nice shout out to Fatale because I'm looking forward to that. What's the story? Give us an update.
Yeah, man, right now we're holding, we haven't been changed yet. We're October 30th. You know, I'm sure that if things stay the way they are, we'll probably most likely move to January. But yeah, man, Hilary Swank in this film, I've been talking about Fatale for 7 months. Man, I'm like, yo, I can't wait. We've made the modern day Fatal Attraction with a bunch of twists and turns. And that's a hell of a film there, man. And it's worth the wait.
Dion, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Thanks for setting the bar high. And you stay safe, okay?
You too, brother.
Thanks, my friend. When we come back, talking about this guy, Rob Schneider, star of my favorite movies, or at least my favorite moments in my favorite Adam Sandler movies, joins us to talk about his new Netflix special. It's awesome. He'll tell you why next. Hey, welcome back. Hope you're staying cool enough this summer and definitely safe this summer and doing all the things that you're still able to do during this summer. In the meantime, let's talk about stuff you'll always be able to do, and that is watch stuff on screens. And screens, specifically comedy. What the world needs now is comedy, and Rob Schneider is back. Wait for it. There, I just wanted to match that. His new stand-up special on Netflix is hysterical.
My wife for Christmas, she got me a gym membership. Thank you, honey. Oh, thank you. I know, I went over there.
He definitely talks about a lot of things unique to him, including his heritage, some of which I'd never heard about, despite the fact that we have history. Take a look.
Hi, Mark. I know you. I've known you for a long time. How are you doing?
I know.
I'm way out in the desert, out in Arizona.
When you say we've known each other for years, I think I told you off the scenes, I've never said this publicly, but the very first notion I had of you when I was working at Comedy Central, our booker was named Jill, and she was dating this guy. And from time to time, she'd say, you guys should really get my boyfriend on the show. And we're thinking, yeah, you know, it's not that kind of show where everybody can just drop by. And then we find out you're the boyfriend. We're like, why did you lead with it was Rob Schneider?
Oh, yeah, Jill Barron. She's the best.
Never more than ever do we need the kind of content you're creating right now. And congratulations, you crushed it. This special is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I've been working years on it, and I'm just as a stand-up. You know, Chris Rock is the one who talked me into going back and doing it, and then I just hope I can live up to his standards. You know, and they're very high. He's the best comic of our generation. So
Chris Rock, if he hasn't seen it, has Chris Rock seen this special yet? Have you got?
No, he hasn't. He's waiting until it comes out. Hopefully, he'll call me that night.
He will tell you that you crush it. You just came up in our household because my sons are big fans of everything you do and fans of Sandler. And 50 First Dates was on, and your character in that. Some might say culturally, would Rob Schneider be allowed to do that? And then I thought, wait a minute, you're half Asian. Your mom is Filipino.
Yes, my mom's Filipino, so I think I got the not one Hawaiian person complained. That's the thing about, like, usually people complaining about whatever cultural appropriation. It's not the culture. I played a Mexican guy in movie and on Netflix called Ridiculous Six. Not one person complained Mexican, at least that I heard of. And so the same thing in Hawaii. I basically grew up in Hawaii. Every summer, my grandfather lived in Hawaii, so we would go over there in the summers. So I got to know, you know, the pidgin talk and all my relatives. So it seemed like it was okay. And you know, and also it's the intention. I'm trying to to have fun and to be funny. and so people can see themselves in that. And I, you know, when I go to Hawaii, people love that. That's probably one of my most popular roles I've ever did. You know,
you're fully committed. It works.
yeah, you got to commit. Yeah.
All right. So with this comedy special, we're about to wrap it up, but I want people to know what they're getting into. We're walking into fine dining, but it is the Rob Schneider comedy special on Netflix. Give us the menu. What's on the menu, Rob?
Well, I'm a young, well, I have young kids and I'm an older dad. So it's a, you know, you can appreciate them more. And at the same time, you have more patience and less patience for certain stuff. And, you know, I'm married again. And for the last, with this, my beautiful wife from Mexico for 10 years. We've been together 11. And it's the best time of my life. My lovely daughter, Elle King, performs with me at the end. And it's very special, very personal, and very honest, with the least amount of lying in my life in this special. So I think people will be able to relate. There's a lot of universal things, and I hope the family can sit back, if you're okay with a couple of swear words, and watch Asian Mama, Mexican Kids.
It's awesome, my friend. I'm so proud of you and all you've done behind the scenes for Legislature and the special, and good to catch up with you. Super good guy there, Rob Schneider. His Netflix special now playing. And by the way, that stuff about him and Legislature that I was mentioning there at the end, this guy went to the California State Capitol and helped get some laws passed that prohibit extremely addictive prescription drugs from being just handed out liberally. That's all I got to say about that. Back to the comedy. Very, very funny. I highly recommend it. Hey, when we come back, it's Shark Week. What does that mean to me? That means that I get to discuss my favorite movie of all time, Jaws, which I will, with an expert, next. Hey, welcome back to the final few moments of Extra Butter. I'm so geeked out about this part of the show, and you should be too, if you like sharks as much as I like sharks. You do? Awesome. I mean, I love shark movies, sure, but I like everything from like Sharknado all the way to Jaws and everything in between, and I'm just fascinated with sharks altogether, but maybe not as much as this guy. And by this guy, I'm not talking about Will Smith. One of the other guys that's not Will Smith in that video is Paul DeGelder, and his story alone is amazing. He was a Marine diver that lost part of an arm and a leg to a shark attack and continues to do his part for country. So I salute him in that way. Now he's a concierge to the stars, like Will Smith and also Mike Tyson, taking them to see sharks in Discovery's Shark Week. By the way, even if Discovery didn't do a Shark Week, it would always be Shark Week as far as I'm concerned. He joins us from somewhere. Paul DeGelder, where do we find you, sir?
I am in Marina del Rey, Los Angeles.
All right, lovely, just down the street from us. Look, I am in no way a hero like you, but I do have a little something that I can relate to. I was asked to swim from the Golden Gate Bridge to the Bay Bridge on live TV continuously, and 3 days before I went, the first great white shark attack in the history of the Bay was recorded, and I pretty much jumped in there and did it anyway.
Jeez, mate, you're a glutton for punishment. Even I wouldn't do that. You know, there's a lot of great white sharks in there.
Now you tell me, where were you, Paul DeGelder, when I needed that advice?
Yeah, me too. You should have called me. Probably lucky you didn't, because then you would have been even more scared.
Maybe. But you know, you're no expert. You are an expert. Actually, truth be told, I can touch on this. You don't like to be called an expert. In fact, you prefer to be called a conservationist. Can you explain why?
Yeah, look, I would never take that title away from the actual experts that have been to school and studied and all of that. You know, I probably do more crazy diving and have interacted with sharks more than a lot of the actual scientists. But for me, I just see it as being a conduit from between the actual experts to the people tuning in. I want to show them everything that I've been through, how my preconceived notion of sharks being vicious man-eaters was changed into a appreciation and respect, and also take them on some adventures and some fun.
And now you're taking the likes of Will Smith on an epic adventure like this.
Yeah, what a great guy. You know, just a small town Australia kid now working with this iconic celebrity. And the best thing about it was you get to see this very human side of Will Smith, which I think we don't often get to see. He's always playing someone else. And for once, he gets to play himself and talk for himself. And we get to have a great conversation about not just fear, but overcoming adversity and even death. And he confronts one of his biggest fears, and it's pretty amazing to watch.
You know, there's no shame in this. We've all done it. At some point after the ice is broken, did you say, Will Smith, I loved you in this, or tell me about the making of this movie or that movie? Were you tempted just a little bit?
Geez, I didn't ask him. I didn't talk to him about any of his movies. What I asked him was, when was the last time you could walk down the street? And he said after Independence Day in 2000, he said that was it. He couldn't walk down the street anymore. But for Will Smith, there's too many. There's like The Pursuit of Happiness, I Am Legend, Independence Day, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. How do you choose?
Yeah, no kidding. Good point. Well, we are on a movie show, so I got to take advantage of these final few moments to ask you, because of your situation, favorite shark movies of all time. Give me 3.
Probably Samuel Jackson's dialogue before he gets eaten in Deep Blue Sea. I got to go with my girl Blake Lively and The Shallows, and also the one and only Jaws.
You know, I could quote Jaws all day long. But if you would, could you quote Sam Jackson from the aforementioned Deep Blue Sea?
Hell no. He was getting on one of his Sam Jackson rants, and all of a sudden, gone. It was awesome because it was so unexpected.
Hey, Paul, you're awesome. It's an honor. Thank you so much for your service. And thanks for being with us today on Extra Butter.
Pleasure, mate. Cheers.
Good guy there. That's Paul DeGilder. It is Shark Week happening right now on Discovery Channel. Let's all rent Jaws, or better than that, let's rent and memorize Sam Jackson from Deep Blue Sea. Hey my gosh, that's it. That's all we got for Extra Butter. Thanks again for hanging out. Be sure and like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And like Paul there, with the U.S. Navy, men and women all over the world watching on AFN, we appreciate your service as well. All right. Anything to say? You pretty much ruined that Hilary Swank interview. Don't say it now, just write it down in your journal. We'll talk about it in therapy. Oh look, end credits are just about over. Want to give me like the saddest face ever for the last moments of the show?